common factor, or GCF, is finding the biggest divisor in both or all of your numbers that you have. If you know prime factorization, this is going to help you a lot. If you don't know what it is, go back and watch my video. In the search bar, type in prime factorization. You'll find it. It's not too long. Some of this might run off my page, so I might have to do a different color. But you're going to have to find the GCF of these two numbers, 36 and 42. And to find that, you are going to have to first start with the prime factorization. So what numbers can you multiply? And people are going to come up with different numbers, but what can you multiply to get 36? I can multiply 12 and 3. 3 can't be broken down. I can break down 12 into 4 and 2. I can't break down that 4. I mean, I can break down that 4, but I can't break down that 2. I'll break it down into 2 and 2. So my prime factorization would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So my prime factorization of 36, I'll write it over to the side in a minute, is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. What about my 42? Well, I know I could break it apart into, I'll choose green, multiply 7 times 6. I can't break down that 7 other than 7 and 1, and that doesn't help me. But I can break down the 6 into 3 and 2. So I have a 7, a 3, and a 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. So my 36, the prime factorization, if I was to write it out, would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And for 42, we write our prime factorization, which is 2 times 3 times 7. And to find the greatest common factor, you circle the ones that they have in common one at a time. So I see 1, 2 down here. I see 1, 2 down here. I don't see any more 2s in the 42, so I can't do that. I see a 3 down here, and I see a 3 up here. So that means my prime factors, well, my GCF is equal to 2, because we have these two, times 3, which is 6. That means the biggest thing that goes into both 36 and 42, our largest divisor would be a 6. So basically it ends up being a couple of steps. The first step is break down both numbers into their prime factorization. The second step is list them all out so you can see them. And the third step, well, different color. Third step is write down the ones they have in common and multiply. We'll do another one. It's a little bit weird, but you'll get the hang of it. Do the prime factorization of 12. It's 4 and 3. I can't break down that 3. I can break down the 4 and the 2 and 2. So there's my prime factorization of 12. I'll go ahead and write it. Prime factorization of 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. I'll do the prime factorization of 24 in red also. I have 12 times 2. That'll work. Then I could do 6 times 2. Okay, then I could do a 3 times 2. So our prime factorization would be 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. So our prime factorization of 24, if I put it in order, is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Now I got to see what they have in common. I see a 2 up here, a 2 up here, or 2 down here, 2 up here, 2 down here. There's no more 2s up top. And a 3 and a 3. So that means my GCF of 12 and 24, I'll do it in this color, GCF, is going to be found by doing 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So my greatest common factor of both of those is 12. That's the biggest thing I could divide both of these by. What I want you to do is pause the video and see if you can find the prime factorization of 50 and 25, stack it, and then find the greatest common factor and see what you get. Okay, now that you're back, I'm assuming or hoping that you found the GCF of 50 and 25. Check your work versus mine. Break it up in the prime factorization. 5 times 10. 5's a little wonky. 5 times 10. I can't break down 5 anymore, but I can break down 10 into 5 and 2, and that's as low as it'll go. 25, I can't really break it down that far. It's just 5 and 5 because those numbers are prime. So That is my prime factorization of 50. That's my prime factorization of 25. So 50 is, if I'm not wrong, it's 2 times 5 times 5, and 25 is just a plain old 5 times 5. What do they have in common? This and this and this and this. So the pairs of them are, the GCF is found by doing 5 times 5. Remember, this 5 and this 5. And that answer is 25. So if you got 25, you got it right. Hopefully this helps out. I'm also going to do a minute short video on this.